This is the historic Greenfield Village, just 100 metres away from the Henry Ford Museum. It's on the same real estate and is the closest step back in time, resembling the era of Henry Ford.
The house is actually one of the last ones to be moved in here. It was further restored in its location about 3 miles from here.
This village represents an exact replica of the Henry Ford era, the buildings, and of course the amazing Model T Fords. What an incredible experience it was to ride in one of these genuine Tin Lizzies. They are quiet, relaxing, and above all, responsible for motoring advancements that helped shape the motoring world as we know it today. When you plan your Detroit tour, the Henry Ford and Greenfield Museum is a must-see on your itinerary.
Well, the original 28 was 29. Kind of unplugged.
Well, one important reason as to why we're here in the United States of America is the Woodward Dream Cruise. We're here in the city of Ferndale. This is a massive event, technically over 3 days, where between 100,000 cars, anywhere up to 500,000 classic cars, participate in this event. This amazing dream cruise also comprises around 1.2 million people that turn up to watch the event in just an 11-mile stretch.
How you doing, Fletch?
I'm great, mate, great. How could I not be great? Here at Woodward. This is actually Woodward Avenue here in Detroit. We're here at Ferndale. Numbers this year, Michael, how are we looking?
Oh, actually, the weather's perfect, so it's bringing out enormous amounts of numbers. I mean, huge numbers.
It must take you, well, all year to organise this. I mean, this is a massive event.
Well, we usually start back in January, and we start building up more and more as we go closer, and then, of course, it gets crazy around June. And then when it finally happens, it's praying to God that we will get good weather. That's really what it matters.
Michael, it's so awesome being here in Detroit. For the people watching the TV show that have never been here before, what are your words of encouragement? What can they expect if they come along to Woodward?
Well, I mean, certainly you see a history of cars from the very beginning. I mean, you can see a Model T on the road all the way up to even the new cars. But the real theme of this event is classic cars and classic rock and roll. So it features primarily the hot rods, the street rods, the cars from the 50s and 60s and beyond that. So, and it's also being able to share those stories of people when they grew up, actually when the cars were first on the road. So it makes it fun listening to the passion that people really have that are car enthusiasts.
It's also I guess it's a celebration of such a powerful zone within the United States of America where a lot of these cars were once built.
Yes, being the Motor City does make it an enormous difference. Having the big three here in Metro Detroit, Chevrolet obviously is the presenting sponsor of the Woodward Dream Cruise this year, but we still have two other identified of the two big three, which is Chrysler and Ford Motor Company, which Ford Motor Company has a strong presence here in Ferndale.
On the behalf of Classic Restos and all the entrants, it's people like you that pull this together. Good on you, Michael. Great catching up.
Well, thanks, and hello to everybody on the other side.
Moving through, here we are at Ferndale. What an opportunity this is. Mark Beer from Shannons. How are you, Mark?
Great, thanks, Fletch. Good to see you here in Detroit.
Absolutely. Small world, isn't it?
Absolutely, it is, isn't it?
Now, before we talk about Woodward, just quickly, the amount of Shannons shows that you guys attend, hundreds and hundreds in Australia every year.
Over 800 every year. Yeah, supporting car clubs, across Australia and all motoring enthusiast events. So yeah.
Down under, back home, I can certainly appreciate why you've busted to get here to Woodward. What do you think of it so far?
Unbelievable. I think if you're a motoring enthusiast and you like American cars, which I do, this is like heaven.
We do.
It's like heaven, to be honest. And the people are so friendly, they're so accommodating, and there are so many museums, there's so many great cars. You are just blown away. It's absolutely fantastic. It's better than I expected.
They cut the ribbon not long ago, started Woodward this afternoon with the emergency services parade. Absolutely awesome. I mean, you see cars that you're familiar with old movies, a couple of 74 Monacos like used on the Blues Brothers. List goes on and on and on. And I don't know whether it just takes you back to your childhood. I don't know what triggers it, but there's something very special there.
Yeah, I've got to admit, I was thinking of Ep2. But when they came through with all the sirens and the lights blazing, I must admit I had a bit of a tear in the eye. It made me feel, it was a bit emotional. It was, which is great. And I think that must mean that I'm maybe a motoring enthusiast.
It's great to catch up with you, Mark. We've got quite a few American edition episodes of Classic Restos happening at the moment, taking advantage of being here in the United States. There is really just so much to see and do here. And what's interesting as well, too, as I've alluded to in other episodes of the show, a lot of our classic cars in Australia, well, they derive from here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Mopars, the Holden product, the GM product, the Ford product, a lot of it's very heavily based on American product. A lot of the designers are American, and a lot of the parts are actually interchangeable as well. So, I think there's definitely a strong link. So all I'd say is, if you like cars, get on a plane and come to Detroit.
Need be saying more. Thanks again, Mark.
No worries, Fletch. Thanks.
All right, we've got Chris now. Chris, welcome to Classic Restos, the United States of America editions.
Thank you very much, Fletch.
Growing up as a kid in the United States of America, Chris, I've got to ask you, what does this mean to you? Like, to see the cars that you remember as a little guy?
Unbelievable. I grew up seeing these cars down the street from me, wrenching on them myself, and to see the preservation of our rich history and the love that we have from all over, not only in the United States, but Australia and beyond. People flocking here to the Motor City because this is where mass production and where Henry Ford put the world on wheels.
Well, we've got a whole string of other stuff coming along on Classic Restos very, very shortly. Now, Chris, you've played an integral part of a lot of the organising here, and even for Classic Restos, and I'd just like to thank you on the behalf. Keep up the great work, mate. You must be very thirsty. Must be time for a beer.
I think so, definitely, and you're welcome. Thank you for coming, and anytime.
Thank you, Chris.
Don't forget to like Classic Restos on Facebook. Facebook.com/Classic Restos TV. And episodes can be seen at Shannons.com.au. Well, there goes another Classic Restos. Thanks for riding along with me. For DVD sets and to contact the major sponsors, go to ClassicRestos.com.au. Classic Restos, proudly brought to you by Shannons Insurance and thetradingpost.com.au.